Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're journeying into a land of myth and magic to tell a tale you've never heard before. The day the dragon lost its roar. Imagine a vast emerald valley, nestled between towering, snow-capped mountains. In this valley lived a magnificent dragon named Ignis. He wasn't just any dragon. His roar was the stuff of legends. It wasn't a roar of terror, but one of life and power. When Ignis roared, the sun seemed to shine a little brighter, the rivers flowed a little faster, and the crops in the nearby villages grew strong and tall. His roar was the heartbeat of the valley, a symphony of strength and protection. The villagers revered him, leaving offerings of shimmering river stones and sweet mountain berries at the foot of his lair. For generations, Ignis and the people of the valley lived in a perfect, unspoken harmony. But one crisp autumn morning, a strange silence fell over the valley. The birds stopped singing, the wind held its breath. The villagers looked up towards the mountain peak, waiting for the familiar comforting roar to start their day. But it never came. The silence stretched, heavy and unnerving. High in his cave, Ignis awoke feeling different. A tickle in his throat, a hollowness in his chest. He took a deep breath, ready to greet the dawn, and opened his mighty jaws. But instead of a thunderous roar, all that came out was a pathetic, smoky squeak, like a puff of dust from an old book. He tried again and again, but the result was the same. A squeak, a cough, a whisper of what was. Panic began to coil in his great heart. Ignis, the legendary dragon, had lost his roar. Down in the valley, the unease grew into fear. The crops began to droop, their vibrant green fading to a sickly yellow. The river, once lively and sparkling, slowed to a sluggish crawl. A gloom settled over the village, mirroring the silence from the mountain. The elders gathered, their faces etched with worry. "The dragon is silent," one whispered. "The land is dying." They knew something had to be done. They decided to send a delegation up the treacherous mountain path to Ignis's lair, not with weapons, but with questions and concern. Leading the group was a young woman named Elara, known for her brave heart and her unique ability to understand the whispers of the wind and the songs of the earth. Elara and her small group ascended the winding trail. The air grew colder, the silence more profound. When they reached the entrance to the vast cave, they found Ignis not perched proudly on his hoard of treasures, but curled in on himself in a shadowy corner, his magnificent scales dull, his golden eyes filled with despair. He looked small, defeated. Elara approached cautiously, her heart aching for the mighty creature. "Great Ignis," she said, her voice soft but clear, "we've come because we miss your song. The valley is fading without your voice." Ignis let out another weak smoky puff, his frustration and sadness evident. He couldn't explain what had happened. He had simply broken. Elara didn't see a monster. She saw a friend in pain. Instead of backing away, she stepped closer. She noticed a faint dark vapor clinging to the air around the dragon's throat. It smelled of doubt and sorrow. She realized this wasn't a physical ailment. Ignis hadn't lost his voice. He had lost his belief in it. Over the centuries, he had taken his role for granted, his roar becoming a habit rather than an expression of his spirit. The pressure of being the valley's heartbeat had finally become a burden, creating a block of self-doubt that now choked his power. "Your roar isn't a tool, great dragon," Elara said softly, as if she were reading his thoughts. "It's your spirit. It's the joy you feel when the sun warms your scales, the love you have for this valley. You've forgotten how to feel it." Inspired by Elara's wisdom, the villagers decided to act. They couldn't give Ignis his roar back, but they could show him why he had it in the first place. They began to sing, ancient songs of the mountain's strength, joyful tunes about the harvest, and lullabies about the sparkling river. They brought him not just offerings, but gifts of their own creation, a beautifully woven tapestry depicting his mighty silhouette against the dawn, a child's carving of a smiling dragon, a garland of the brightest wildflowers. They shared their stories of how his roar had made them feel safe, happy, and alive. They weren't asking for his power. They were returning the love and joy he had given them for so long. Ignis watched and listened. He saw the genuine affection in their eyes and heard the gratitude in their songs. He felt the warmth of their friendship melt the icy knot of doubt in his chest. He remembered the thrill of his first flight, the taste of the crisp mountain air, the beauty of the starlit valley below. He wasn't just a guardian. He was a part of this beautiful world. A wave of pure, unburdened joy washed over him, filling him from the tip of his tail to the horns on his head. He felt the old power stirring, not as a duty, but as an overwhelming desire to express the happiness that now filled his heart. He stood tall, his scales seeming to regain their luster in an instant. He took a deep, joyful breath, a breath full of gratitude and newfound purpose. And then, he opened his jaws and roared. It wasn't just a sound. It was a tidal wave of pure, unadulterated joy. It was louder, richer, and more vibrant than ever before. The roar rolled down the mountain, shaking the very stones, but it was a tremor of celebration. In the valley, the crops instantly perked up, their leaves unfurling towards the sun. The river surged back to life, sparkling and dancing. The gloomy clouds parted, and a brilliant sunshine bathed the entire valley in golden light. The people cheered, their voices joining the dragon's magnificent song. From that day on, Ignis's roar was different. It was no longer just a daily routine. Sometimes it was a soft, rumbling chuckle that made the flowers bloom a little brighter. Other times it was a triumphant bellow of pure delight that would echo through the mountains for hours. He learned that true strength doesn't come from being flawless or invincible, but from connection, from vulnerability, and from the love you share with others. The day the dragon lost his roar was the day he and the entire valley truly found his voice. And that's the story of Ignis, and the day he learned that the greatest power comes not from the sound you make, but from the heart you put into it. It's a great reminder for all of us that sometimes we lose our roar, our confidence, our passion, our voice. And when that happens, it is the connection with others and reconnecting with our own joy that helps us find it again. Thank you so much for joining me for this story today. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next adventure. Let us know in the comments what you thought of Ignis's journey. Until next time, stay curious and keep sharing your voice with the world.